I'm making bone broth.
I'm making bone broth, and I thought I would show exactly how I do this because it took me a few times to figure out, for one, how to not overpay for the pieces of animal product that you need, and for two, to get it nice and gelatinous, like jelly consistency the way you want. So I start with, I have a Moulinex, and this is the pot, and it's an Instapot. Basically, this is the French version of the Instapot. And so that's what we're going to cook it in. If you don't have one of those, it takes 24 to 48 hours on the stove, which seems a little excessive and also dangerous for me because I have a gas stove. But if you do it in this, it's like 4 hours. I do 4 hours. So I just got back from the butcher, and I got os de moelle and bone marrow, bone with bone marrow. I buy, for each batch that I do, I buy one big one and one small one. This cost me €2 and this cost me €1, so that's €3. I've already got one soaking in water. And then I put one carcass of a piece of a chicken. They charge me €1 for this. I'm going to rinse it off. You'll see here I've got my, this is my water filter. So I'm using filtered water for this. So I'm just going to rinse it off and then put it in with the two pieces of bone marrow, bone with bone marrow. And then the key to this, some of you are not going to like this, so turn it off now if you don't like animal parts. Pig feet. I have to make this today because I buy these from my butcher, and I have to order them. And so I buy several at a time, and then I freeze them, and I had defrosted them 2 days ago. So today needs to be the day that we cook them. And those are the key. So I put 2 pig's feet, a chicken carcass, and 2 pieces of bone marrow in the pot. Let me see if I can make my camera better. Can I zoom out? Nope, can't. Just put it back here a little bit more. That's a little better. And then I fill it up again with filtered water. And I'm going to put it in my pressure cooker. And what I do is I leave this, the first step is just heating it to where it gets hot and this water gets hot. And what it's going to do is it's going to, all of the impurities are going to rise to the surface. Whenever you're cooking, like even you might be cooking soup or something, and it has like these bubbles, like gray bubbles on the top, that's impurities, like, things that you don't want to consume. So the first step is just that. I'm letting it sit with this open, and it's preheating, so it's going to get hot, and over 15 minutes or so, all those impurities are going to get heated up and come to the surface, and then I'm going to pour the water off the top. So the rest of this I'm not going to freeze it. Usually I would, but I had to defrost 4 pig's feet because they were all stuck together. So I'm going to make 2 batches of bone broth today, which will take a total of like 8 hours of cook time, but most of the time I can just let it sit and cook. So I'll come back once these in 15 minutes or so when this is done. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes and this thing is done heating and getting rid of all of the, not getting rid of, but bringing to the surface all of the impurities in the food that we don't want to eat. Yeah, that's working. And so it just makes like a noise, and so I'm going to take this off. And I'm going to show you. So you can see there's like yellow stuff on top. There's not a lot. Sometimes there's a lot more like foam and things. But basically we want to pour that out. So now we've gotten all the impurities out of the bones. And what I'm going to do, this is just keeps making noise, is turn on my kitchen's a little bit of a mess today. What I usually do is I'll invest quite a bit of like time and effort like one day a week or something, you know, doing my bone broth and everything else. And then I eat super basic during the week, or like, you know, things that I've already prepared. Okay, so that I turned that on. Now, what we need to do with these is we rinse them off in filtered water. And we put them in here to like, what do you call it when you cook things really like at a high heat? You just want to like brown it basically on the outside. So some more like impurities came off when I just rinsed that. And I'm going to put them in here to brown. And in the meantime, I'm just rinsing off all of the pieces of bone. I'm going to put them on my cutting board here. Hot! Yeah, that thing keeps reminding me to put the food back in and start the machine. Just rinsing it off. Again, in filtered water, which is why it's really handy to have a filter on the faucet. Even if you're gonna drink like spring water or something, like, or like have a Berkey or something, it's really good to have a filter on the sink for washing everything else. Okay, so I'm washing out the pot. Pardon the terrible camera angles. I don't have a cameraman. So I washed this out. I'm gonna put it in here. And I'm browning. Get a fork. I'm browning these guys. I mean, it doesn't look like much, but it helps. You don't have to do this part, but it makes it tastier. It makes it taste better. So basically I'm going to brown all of these pieces too, and then I'm going to put them back in the pressure cooker. While I'm browning all these pieces, I'm going to talk about the two things that were the biggest things that I had to figure out when I was doing this. And this is where kind of like that idea, I talked about this in a past episode about like wisdom versus information. Actually, that's really when I started having that kind of realization that like you can read an ingredients thing off the internet, but what it looks like and how it gels and the consistency and the smells and stuff are much less, you know, a lot of the time not really included in a recipe, for instance. And that's kind of the wisdom piece of this. So, two things. So I hope you can hear me. Two things. One was that I was spending a lot of money. I was spending like, I mean, you know, 20 euros or something per batch, which lasts me about 5 days, or less if you're, you know, drinking it like 3 times a day. It's only going to last you a few days. It took me a little while to talk to the boucheries and to figure out like that all the pieces that are best for bone broth, that will make it the most gelatinous and give you all of the nutrients that you want, are the parts that people don't really want or buy. I mean, literally a carcass. So I started doing the carcass because that was one of the suggested things by Claude and by all the people on Pinterest and stuff. But also because I get it for €1. Like, they throw this away. So they just cut off all the pieces that they sell. And then my guy sells it to me for €1. You might be able to get it for free. The bone marrow, they sell, I said, like €1, €2. And those are really good. Those are really high, like high leverage, you know, high in all the good gelatin that you want. And then the pig's feet is the most expensive thing. I have to order those because nobody orders pig feet. And so, I mean, I just say, hey, I'm going to pick these up next week and I want 6 of them or 8 of them or whatever. And I think he charges me like €3 per pig foot, and I put 2 in each batch. So I'm spending like, I don't know, 8 or 9, well, like 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6. Yeah, I guess I'm spending €10 on a batch of these. I've also sometimes like, I don't know, the price is always different for the pig's feet, and one time they just gave me a whole bunch of them for free. So the average has actually been lower. But the pig's feet or chicken feet, like the feet are kind of a necessary. I've tried doing it without those when I haven't been able to get them. And the bone broth did not gel. It didn't do what, you know, and the gelling is what you are looking for to make sure that it has everything that you're looking for. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this off. So again, this phase of like browning or just like cooking quickly and the outside is more for flavor than anything. But, you know, I'm going to be drinking my bone broth and I want to enjoy it. Okay, so I put it all in here. And then I'm going to fill it up with water, with filtered water again, basically to cover the parts. I put some peppercorns. The most important piece of this part is apple cider vinegar. This is like a cheapo one. I'm gonna get, I'm about onto this, so I'm gonna get one with the mother in it for next time. This was what I had to do. That was probably a little bit too much, but you want like 2 tablespoons, I think. So the peppercorns and salt, I guess, are mainly for flavor. Salt probably helps bring out some of the nutrients too, I would imagine. Salt's really good for us. Good salt, good salt, good salt. And then right now, I'm gonna chop up like 6. I'm gonna do 2 carrots. You can put celery in it. I'm gonna put I don't have celery today. They didn't have it at the market. You can put a little bit of celery, a little bit of carrots, thyme, which I happen to have some dry thyme here. I'm going to put some garlic in it, smash it up, like 6 cloves of garlic. I'm not going to put in the vegetables, the onions and carrots yet. I'm going to wait until it's cooked for a little bit, but that just adds flavor. The only things that are necessary in here are, well, really it's just the apple cider vinegar, because it helps to break down and release all of the nutrients that you want. So I'm just filling it up with water, and I'll show you. Let me see, is there anything else that needs to go in that? No, the only like necessary thing. And then just like you would make a soup broth or something, you can put all of those things, like whatever herbs you like in yours. Again, garlic, salt, pepper. And this is what it's gonna look like. Here, put it in here. And now I'm not starting it yet. I'll show you better here. I'm not starting it yet. What I'm gonna do is let the bones sit in there. Try and get it covered, mostly. Let the bones sit in there for 30 minutes with no, stop browning. There we go. Let the bones sit in there for 30 minutes with the apple cider vinegar to start breaking down all the nutrients that you're gonna need. And then we will start and in fact, we can just end there. So what I'll do after 30 minutes of it just sitting without cooking is I will close this and I will start it. The Moulinex, unfortunately, only goes for an hour and a half, but it needs to cook for a total of like 4 hours, minimum 3 in the pressure cooker. I do 4 just because I think it's gonna break down a little bit more. And so for me, I have to, because of the Moulinex only goes for an hour and a half, I have to restart it after, like it'll turn off after an hour and a half, and then I restart it again. But that's how to make bone broth. And then I will show you what it looks like when it comes out and what kind of consistency you're looking for. Okay, I am not feeling well, but I didn't want to deprive you guys of seeing what comes out of the pressure cooker. It's been 4 hours. Bone broth is cooked. Okay, so it just looks like any kind of broth you might make, chicken broth or something. Looks good. The really good thing with the pressure cooker is that it doesn't, that the water doesn't evaporate, so you don't have to keep adding water. If you don't have a pressure cooker, you are gonna have to keep adding water. And what did I do with the colander? Ahí está. So I'm just gonna put, I've got a big pot in here. Sorry, you can't really see it. Let's see if I can. There. We got a big pot here, putting a colander in it, and I'm straining out all the stuff, and I'm gonna throw away the bones. So I'm just gonna be careful not to splatter too much. You guys are getting me raw with freshly showered and practically my pajamas on. So these are all the bones that I'm going to throw away once it stops dripping here. And this is the bone broth. And then I'm going to save it in, I keep all my jars. I'm going to save it in a bunch of jars so I can just open like, you know, a jar a day and a couple bigger jars. And I'm going to wait for it to cool down some because it's super hot right now. And then I'm going to refrigerate it. It'll be good in the fridge for about 5 days. So if you're going to take longer, I mean, this will last me about 5 days. So I'm not going to freeze anything right now. And I'll show you a picture tomorrow of, because the way that you know that it's got all the nutrients and everything that you're looking for is after you refrigerate it, it will be nice and jelly. So I will also show that tomorrow because that's kind of the key to knowing that it, you put enough, you know, collagen and gelatinous animal products and all that stuff. And I got on my Ain't That Country Music Christina Murray shirt here. Christina Murray with a K. Check her out. So the bone broth has been in the fridge since yesterday, and that's what you want to do before you eat it. And now we're going to see if it came out to the right consistency. So you see on top there's this whole layer of fat. that, I mean, you can do something with the fat if you want. For me, I'm drinking so much bone broth that it's not really, I've cooked with it sometimes, but I'm just not really into the flavor anymore after drinking a couple of glasses a day. So I'm just scraping it off. You want to scrape it off. And I'm going to throw it away, but you don't have to. And, oh, you're not even seeing what I'm doing. So I'm just scraping off. And the trick that we want to see is if it's really gelled. And as you can see, let me get this fat out. This is not quite as jelly as you want it to be. You want it to be really like jelly. And this is gelatinous, but it's not quite as solid as I want. So I think what I did here, so there's one of two things. Either put less water in it or put more animal parts in it. And so I think what I would do next time, I did notice that I think I put a little bit too much water in. I went over the maximum amount for the Moulinex. But this is still going to be really healing. It's got it's got glycine and amino acids to heal my gut. And so it's not perfect, but it's definitely pretty good. Again, you want it to be a little bit more like jelly so it doesn't move so much. So there you go. Imperfect bone broth. Enjoy. So update, yesterday I said that I was making 2 batches of bone broth and my second batch was much more gelatinous, so I wanted to show you. This is a good, see how it's really like jelly. This is a good consistency. You want it more like that. And I am making some, so I put some on the stove. I put the flame low. You don't want to like heat the hell out of it. And it dissolves and comes into like a broth, you know, a liquid very quickly. And I add a little bit of turmeric to mine and pepper. Pepper activates the turmeric, so anytime you eat turmeric, put pepper in it. And I'm gonna have myself a nice little cup of bone broth.